Until Dawn hits theaters today, and it got me thinking about deadly games in the horror genre. This is one of my favorite subgenres because it's just so fun. Sometimes it can be over the top, and sometimes it can be pretty gnarly. So let's dive into some of the best horror movies centered around deadly games. Stay Alive is the quintessential deadly game I think of when I think of this subgenre. This is a movie about a group of kids who decide to play this haunted video game, and if you die in the game, you die in real life. This one has grown to have a little bit more of a cult following, I would say. I don't think it was reviewed very well when it came out, but watching it, revisiting it now, I feel like there's so much charm to it, and it's so cool. It is very early 2000s, but I love the video game graphics. I love the story behind it. Devour is about two friends who are having a live chat. They get a link to a video game from one of their friends, and they decide to play it. This movie takes place entirely on the desktop computer, so you're watching these friends play this point and click game that gets disturbing with every minute, and things start affecting them in real life. This one is a low budget screen life horror movie, desktop horror that I really love. This one is set in the late 90s, and I feel like it perfectly captures those nostalgic vibes. You can hear the sound of the computer working in the background, just the sound of the clicking through the game, and it really does feel like you're watching two friends live stream a game. Escape Room is about a group of 6 strangers who were invited to this place to play an escape room game. And when they start playing, they realize that the game has some deadly consequences, and each room gets more dangerous throughout the movie. What I like about this movie is that the escape room itself is really intricate. Each room changes. I think that the characters are really fun as well, and it's just a good time. Truth or Dare is one that I feel like gets a lot of hate, and I actually kind of think it's not that bad, guys. This is about a group of friends who essentially get pulled into playing a game of Truth or Dare that is cursed. And if you ever tell a lie while you're playing this game, you will be brutally killed by this entity. It's essentially kind of like the Smile entity, and this group of people have to figure out how to break the curse. I just think it's silly, it's fun, it has a hot young cast, and the deaths are pretty fun, and overall it's not that serious, so enjoy it, okay? Brainscan is one from my childhood that I really love. This one is fully 90s vibes. This one is about a teenage boy played by Edward Furlong who finds this mysterious computer game that essentially gets into your mind to deliver one of the most terrifying experiences ever. But as the young boy plays the game, he realizes that a lot of the violent acts in the game are actually happening in real life. I think this one has a brilliantly terrifying story and a really cool antagonist. He just looks terrifying, and just the idea that you think you're playing a game, but it turns out you're actually committing murders in real life. It's scary, and I just love the vibes, the music, everything. Ready or Not is about a young woman played by Samara Weaving who on her wedding night must play a game of Ready or Not with her new husband and her new in-laws. But what she doesn't realize is that her in-laws are fucking crazy, and this game is essentially a fight for survival. If they catch her, they'll kill her. Samara Weaving's character goes through so much growth. She's very just bubbly and joyous and carefree in the beginning, and then she really becomes a fighter as she starts to fight back against this family, and she tries to outwit them, and she does not give up. I think this one has some really great characters, including Adam Brody, and it has some pretty decent moments of gore and violence as well, and I just think it has one of the best endings ever. Belko Experiment is about a group of workers who get trapped inside their office building, and an unknown voice over the intercom tells them that they must kill their coworkers within a certain amount of time or something bad will happen. So chaos ensues. I love this idea and concept, and taking the workplace and making it just even worse than it already is. Would You Rather is about a group of people who are invited into the home of this wealthy man who forces them to play a game of Would You Rather. But this isn't just a basic game of Would You Rather. He puts them into very dark and disturbing tests where they have to decide to do some pretty sadistic things against each other. And if they win this game, they win a shit ton of money. I think that this one is horrifying. It's very bleak and dark, and you know, it makes you question what you would do in that situation. Devour is an early 2000s horror movie that is about a young college kid who gets introduced to this really weird horror game called The Pathway, and dark stuff starts happening once he starts playing it. He starts having really dark visions, his friends start dying, and a lot of other weird stuff is happening all around him. This one is not good, but there is something charming about it because it really has that early 2000s aesthetic. It has Jensen Ackles from Supernatural as the lead, and he's just fun to watch anytime, but playing a deadly horror game, what more could you ask for? Cheap Thrills is another really fun and twisted one. It's about these two guys who are kind of down on their luck. They're strapped for cash, and they're introduced to this couple who were pretty sadistic, and they're like, hey, we can help you make some money if you play some games. And they basically start having these two go on challenges, play these games, whatever scenario this couple thinks of. And over the course of the night, it gets humiliating and dark and disturbing, and you're just watching to see how far this person is willing to go to get the money. And it's a very bleak situation. It's scary to see how others like to watch others suffer and go through horrible things. And I think the cast is amazing in this. This one is a nice surprise. I feel like it's overlooked a lot, but I think it's really fun. It's fast-paced. In a similar vein is a movie called 13 Sins, which is about a young man who is also strapped for cash. He receives a phone call telling him that he's about to be a participant in this game where he has to complete 13 deadly tasks, essentially, in order to win a large sum of money. Mark Webber is really great as the lead. He's very just kind of timid. He's an everyman kind of person that you can really get behind and root for, as he's forced into this horrifying situation in order to basically have a better life for himself and his family. This movie is also surprisingly violent and gory, so just be prepared for that. Cube is another one, but this is a different kind of deadly game. This is about a group of people who wake up in this maze-like prison, and they don't know how they got there, but they are trying to figure out how to get out alive. And each of them realizes that they possess particular skills that they can use to get out of this place. And this one is just very claustrophobic, very psychological and trippy and suffocating, because these people are trapped, and just the idea of waking up somewhere and not being able to leave and having no idea how you got there is just absolutely terrifying to me. Livescream is a low-budget screen life horror movie about a YouTuber or gamer that is streaming a video game that he gets sent, and while he's playing it, he realizes that if he dies in the game, people start to die in real life. So he's forced to play this game and survive so that nothing bad will happen. I think this one is a little bit of a slow burn, but it is a really fun concept, and I think the characters are really enjoyable. And again, I love found footage, I love screen life, and I think they capture it very well. It really does feel like you're watching somebody streaming a game on YouTube. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is about a group of rich friends who gather during a hurricane, and they decide to play a game of Bodies, 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 which is essentially when one of them pretends to be a killer while the other friends have to figure out who the killer is. But over the course of the night, paranoia is rising, they're starting to turn on each other, and somebody actually dies. And so they have to figure out what's going on. I think this one is really fun at capturing really unlikable people who are still enjoyable to watch. I think that they present the 20-something vapid influencer very well in this, which can get hard to watch, but I think that watching them go through this night of pure chaos is just really fun. Watching everything just devolve and get crazier, and seeing what actually happens and the reveals are just well earned and fun. I think they were very well executed, and it's silly. And probably the deadliest of all deadly games, we have Saw. Saw is the horror film franchise that introduced us to Jigsaw, the serial killer who likes to put his victims in various traps and force them to find a way to escape, to fight for their lives. But those traps are not always escapable or easy to escape from, so a lot of these people die in the process. When you think of these traps, you're like, holy shit, can I survive this trap? No, I would probably die from literally every single trap. There's no way I could cut a key from my eye, crawl through barbed wire. I would die. But number one, I couldn't remember a single damn thing he says in the tape that he makes you play at the beginning. I would need a replay. I'd need to write it down. So I would definitely die. And I think a lot of people would. Saw 1 is the best of the best, I think. I think it's the best in the entire Saw franchise, but there are some fun other ones in there. The kills, the traps are so much fun. They're so inventive, so dark and disturbing when you really think about it. And there you have it. There are some deadly games in horror that I think are really fun, really dark, disturbing. I don't ever want to play. It's fun watching other people play and suffer, you know? If you're looking for something to watch tonight, highly recommend any of the movies I talked about. Also, let me know if you plan on seeing Until Dawn. I saw it. I thought it was fun. It's nothing new. I think the kills are really fun and inventive, but it is repetitive because it's a Groundhog Day scenario. I haven't played the game, so I don't know how it compares, but overall it was okay. So I'm very curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any additional deadly game recommendations, please let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you. Bye!